All right, what's up, everybody? Good morning to you as we kick off this wonderful Friday morning. We're going to jump into why run, okay? Why do this business? Why make those phone calls? Why buy the leads? Why go door to door? Why go through that process? We're going to dive into that, okay, on this Friday, going into this weekend. I want you guys to go into next week with a refreshed mindset of why are you doing what you're doing. All right. So we're going to jump into that shortly. If you missed Wednesday's call, make sure you go back and listen to it because Cassie dropped a lot of great tips from finding her first annuity, just being a great agent in general. So make sure you go back and watch that. And I don't know about you guys, but I really don't get sick of seeing that intro video of Scotland. I know the bagpipes will wake you up in the morning as we start this call. But I'm excited for Scotland. Cancun was phenomenal, and I could not be more excited to see who qualifies over the next few months for the Scotland trip. So today's call is going to be a quick one for you guys. On next week's calls, I know you guys love the 3-part series of the presentation. We're going to do a 3-part series on carriers. So next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're going to go over one carrier each day, so you can become an expert with that carrier. So make sure you tune in next week. But let's talk about something, guys. Why run? Okay, what do I mean by run in this business? Guys, you are in a race, okay? Believe it or not, you're in a race in this career, in this opportunity. You're in a race in your life, all right? And the verse of the day, think back to Monday's call. The verse of the day talked about how if you're doing something, work at it, right? Heartily, as if you're doing it for the Lord. And guys, the way we live our life is just like that. The way that you run your agency is just like that. The way that you wake up, the attitude that you have every single morning is like that. And the thing that I love most about this business is it gives you a chance to race against yourself. All right. You don't have to compete. I know some of you guys love competition, right? We're all healthy competitors here on the leaderboards, like we went over on Wednesday's call. But ultimately, you get to race against yourself every single day. You get to wake up today on Friday and see, are you a better agent? Are you a better agency owner than you were on Thursday and before that, right? So it's a constant attempt for you to become a better version of you. And this business gives you the one opportunity that I could think of where you get to write your own paycheck. You get to create your own financial future by the amount of work and the effort that you put into this. All right. And I want to dive into why run, because sometimes as agents, we sometimes lose that purpose, right? We lose. Why are we doing what we're doing? Why build a team? Why fly to different states and train new agents? Why drive 6 hours, right, and train new agents? I can think of multiple times I got in the car at 5 o'clock at night, drove 8 hours down to Florida, right, to train new agents, and then drove 8 hours back 2 days later while Alicia's at home with the kids, right, putting them to bed and doing all of that. I could think about me being at home late at night, cooking dinner, even though I have no idea how to cook, so that Alicia could be out there field training new agents and vice versa. So why do this? Why, right? Why run? I want you guys to go to the WhatsApp chat. And if you can answer this question, put your reason in it. Why run in this career? Why do you run right now? Why are you even watching this morning conference call? Okay, let's talk about the question before we jump into what you can gain, okay, from running this race as an agent. But my first question to you guys as we jump into today's call is, what happens if you choose not to? What happens if you don't run? Okay, what happens if you stop running? All right, I'll never forget the very first PFT that I ever did as a physical fitness test in the Marines. All right. And the very first one I ever did was actually before I even got to go to boot camp. I did it at the recruiting station before I even became a Marine. It was like training. Every week we would go to the recruiting station on Wednesday night and they would destroy us, right? Getting prepared to go to boot camp. And the very first time I ever did this, I remember we had to run a 3-mile run. And to get a perfect time, I think you had to run it in 21 minutes or less. And I remember I took off sprinting right out of the gate to try to hit that 21 minutes. And by the time I was about 1.5 miles into it, I was dead, right? Passed out, dead, thrown up. I had sprinted for 1.5 miles straight and just pretty much killed myself. But I kept running, right? I somehow managed to put one foot in front of the other, and I finished that first PFT. I think I did it in like 25 minutes. I definitely did not get a perfect score, but I had a moment, all right, in that PFT where I really had to decide, am I going to keep going or am I going to quit? Am I going to keep going or is it going to be too hard? Right. And I chose to keep going. And I believe that's why I ended up going to boot camp, graduating boot camp, going to the Marine Corps, getting all that. Right. But I had a choice to continue to run or to stop. And I think about that in this business. I think about being a new agent when I had the choice of, do I keep running even though everyone's told me no? Even though I've hired 5 agents and they've all quit, right? I had a choice of, do we keep running or do we stop? And I had to keep asking myself this question of, what happens if we stop? What do we do? Do we go back to a W-2 job, a 9 to 5, where I get, whatever, 20, 30, 40 bucks an hour at the end of the week? I made X amount of dollars and that's all I'm ever going to make. We're never going to get ahead financially. I thought about, are my kids going to get to live a life like most kids don't get to experience? All right. If I stop running, the answer is no. They're never going to see me. I'm working 9 to 5. They're not going to get to go on cool vacations. They're not going to get to really enjoy childhood. They're just going to be stressed out, right? Because their parents are stressed out, financially strapped, different things, right? So I kept thinking about, what happens if I choose not to run? Okay, what's the option there? Like if I could ask you that question right now, what happens if you choose to not go to work today? If you choose to not buy leads today, if you choose to not pick up your phone today, if you choose to not go knock on the doors today, what happens to you? What happens to your family? What does your life look like in 6 months if you do that every single day? Guys, this question is what's going to keep you running. It's what kept me running through that PFT. It's what keeps me running every single day. It's why I'm doing this call right now, right? What happens if I stop running? Things will crumble. And so my question to you guys is, what happens if you choose to not give this business your all? If you choose to let the hard defeat you? Okay. Think about that. Every day that you wake up, I want you to ask yourself that question. What happens if you don't do what you're supposed to do to build your agency today? Where are you going to end up in a couple of months from now? All right. Are you going to go back to that W-2? Are you going to go have to find a new job? Are you not going to be able to make your mortgage payment, your rent payment? Or what happens if you do run? What happens if you continuously do the daily activities you got to do that are probably boring, right? Maybe a little bit uncomfortable for you, knocking on doors, calling leads, recruiting, training agents. What happens if you do that for a year straight? What would your life look like in 12 months from now? All right. So think about that question as we go through this. Number one, my number one reason for running in this business and in this opportunity here at FFA is you get a chance to unlock the real version of you, right? You do not know who you are until you see how you react to challenging things. Okay. If everything is going good for you, that's not that impressive, right? It's not impressive to me if mommy and daddy handed you a ton of money and your life is cake and you were, born with the silver spoon and you get all this stuff given to you and life is just easy and you're a great person. You should be, right? You don't get to see a chance to see the real you until you go through some stuff. All right. And running in this business gives you a chance to see the real you. When you go door to door in a neighborhood that most people would not go door to door at nighttime, and you help somebody, you overcome those fears, when you push on a power night, when you've been told no all day and you finally on that last house make the sale, you get to see the real you, right? When you're being challenged, that's when the real you gets to be unlocked. It's not when life is easy. Okay. It's not when you're clocking in and clocking out and getting paid for sitting there. It's when you get to push yourself that you get to see the real version of you, right? That's why I love the military, because it really showed me the real version of me. All right. It showed me what I could be capable of, what God has given me the ability to do. I believe when you're pushed, when you're going through trials, when you're doing something that is challenging, it gives God the chance to unlock what's actually inside of you. All right. But when everything's just fine and it's peaceful, whatever, you're really not seeing the real you. So why run? Why push yourself? Why build that agency? Why build that team? Why put yourself out there? Why be in uncomfortable situations? Why invest in leads when you're just trying to hold on to every dollar that you have? It's because you get to see the real you, right? You get to be one-on-one with you and your creator, and he gets to show you that he's got your back. He wants you to win, but he wants to see how far are you willing to go and trust him, right? Think about that. Think about when Jesus carried the cross himself all the way up that mountain, right? He was unlocking the real him. He was showing the world who he really is. You get to show that, all right, by the daily actions you take. And you're not going to show people that when you're walking, when you're crawling. You're going to show it to them when you're running towards a new version of you. Okay, number 2, you get to build your legacy. Guys, you are building an actual legacy every single day that you wake up and do this business. Every sale that you make, you're getting a financial piece, right? You're helping your client out, number 1. You're helping their family out, number 2. And you're helping you and your family out, because when you make that sale, you're getting paid the upfront commission. You're getting paid renewal commissions for a long time. You're building a legacy. When you recruit that new agent, even though you never thought that you would be a recruiter or an agency owner, you're building that legacy. You're building their legacy with them, and you're building yours. You're building your business up. So why run? Because you get to build something. Guys, FFA started at 0. Right? Started with nothing. Look at what God's done because we've chosen to run, because you guys that work with us have chosen to run every single day. Y'all set another brand new record as a company last month. All right. Blew our past record out of the water. It's because you get to build that legacy. Okay. That's number 2. Number 3, this is one of my favorite ones. All right. God created us to be free, but we somehow have managed to enslave ourselves in this world when we shouldn't have done. We shouldn't be doing that, right? Think about it. That car bill that you're paying every single month, the mortgage that you have to pay every month, the rent that you have to pay every month. All right. It says in that book, right? It says the borrower is slave to the lender. And I don't know about you guys, but that has stressed me out ever since I got my very first car and I had that car payment. And then me and Alicia got married and we had all these credit card bills and the cars and the house, whatever, the insurance payments. I remember just having to be a slave to work. I couldn't do what I wanted to do every single day because I had to wake up and clock into a job because I had to pay a bill that I enslaved myself with that I shouldn't have done, right? But maybe I didn't have a choice because I didn't have other money options at the time. So this business allows you to earn that freedom back. It allows you to go out there and write 40K this month and pay off your car, right? It allows you to stick $100,000 in your savings account within 12 months and keep it there for a rainy day. All right. It allows you to go pay cash for whatever you want to pay. It allows you to earn your freedom back, but only if you run. If you walk, you're not going to earn your freedom back. You're just going to be a hamster in a wheel, right? Walking in circles. You got to hustle. All right. Like Dave Ramsey says, if you want a life in the future like nobody else has, you have to live and do things today that nobody else is willing to do to get to that. All right. But you get to earn your freedom back by what we do and by running in this business. All right. And lastly, before we wrap up today's call is you get to earn your time back. Okay. So many people, podcasters, YouTube, you name it, you watch their shows, very successful people that all say the same thing. They would give up every single dollar, every house they have, every car they have to go back and be 20 years old again, to be 30 years old again, right? They would give up everything that they've built to have their time back. And guys, if you're walking, you're not pushing yourself, you're not running to create this business, to build your agency up, to earn your freedom and your time back, right? You're going to go through life missing opportunities, not doing things that you really are passionate about because you're a slave to the system. So what I love about running in this business is you can earn your time back. You can take your family on that vacation and not have to take paid time off to do it, right? You can go to your kids' baseball practice, their hockey practice, whatever it is that they do, right? Their dance classes, right? I get to take Sutton to her dance class every Tuesday morning, all right, from 10 to 10:30. I would miss that if I was doing something else. But this business allows me to earn the time back. So I actually get to spend that 30 minutes just with her, right? Think about that. Think about how you would never have to miss your kids' sporting events, their games, right? If you had your time back. And if you run hard enough in this business, you're going to earn that time back. So that's key, guys. This is one of my favorite things. I think God, has given us so much time, but here's the thing. Only He knows when our time is going to be up. And I just think about, like, what if He just pops down right now and the world's over? And like, you think back on what you've done over the course of your life and like, dang, I didn't do anything I really wanted to do because I was a slave to this system or whatever it is. Guys, we're on borrowed time. Soak it up, right? Enjoy it. If you run hard in this business, you get to earn that time back. Okay. You get to have the freedom that so many people want, but so many people never actually get to experience because they're trapped. You don't have to be trapped if you choose to run in this business. So that's all I got for you guys. All right, this week, I hope everybody has an amazing weekend. Choose to run next week. Okay. Finish next week thinking, I gave it my all. I did everything I possibly could to get my agency where I want it to be, from selling to recruiting to building, doing it all in 1 week. Think about what your life will be like in a month from now, 12 months from now, 2 years from now, 6 years from now, 10 years from now. Buy the time back. You can do it if you choose to run. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Enjoy the weekend. We'll be back here on Monday.